Okay, have you ever had one of those days? You know the one I'm talking about. Your calendar is just a wall of meetings, your inbox is exploding, you're just constantly putting out fires, and at the end of it all, you just collapse. You feel completely exhausted, but when you look back, you're not really sure what you actually moved forward. Well, let's get into that feeling, because it tells us something really important about the difference between being busy and making progress.
And that's the thing, isn't it? That's the trap. All of that motion, all that activity, it feels good. It feels like you're getting things done. You can hear the engine humming, you feel the momentum. But what if that feeling is just an illusion?
So yeah, let's talk about this busyness illusion. To really get our heads around it, we first have to look at what we think progress looks and feels like on any given day.
I mean, this is it, right? Emails are flying back and forth. Meetings are happening. We're updating our task boards, moving tickets around. Everybody looks busy. Everybody feels busy. This is the stuff we can see, the noisy, frantic part of work. And it's what we usually measure. But it's not the whole picture, not even close.
Because if we zoom in a little bit, if we look past all that surface-level chaos, the actual work, well, it's moving in a completely different way. It's much more stop and go. You know, we have this mental model of work as a nice, smooth assembly line. An item starts over here, moves steadily along, and comes out the other side, finished. But the reality? It's more like a series of sprints and long pauses. The work moves in a quick burst of activity, and then it just waits. And that waiting? That's where the whole story is.
And let's be clear, the work isn't being lazy. It's waiting for something. It's waiting for a decision from somebody. It's sitting in a virtual pile of work, waiting for a handoff between two teams. It's stuck in a queue behind a bottleneck, that one part of the process that everything has to squeeze through. The craziest part is, these waiting states often look exactly like normal work, so we don't even realize they're happening.
So what do we do when we sense that things are slowing down? Well, our instincts kick in. And unfortunately, those instincts usually lead us right into something called the effort trap.
Just think about it for a second. That big project that's starting to fall behind schedule. That deadline that's looking a little too close. What's the knee-jerk reaction for you and your team?
It's almost always some version of this, isn't it? First, we dial up the urgency. More emails, more status requests, more just checking in messages. Then, we add more coordination. Let's get another meeting on the calendar. Let's start a new Slack channel. And finally, we just try to brute force it. We just push harder, hoping sheer effort will get it across the finish line.
And this is the punchline of the trap. All of that pushing, it creates a huge storm of new activity. All those signs of busyness we talked about earlier, they go off the charts. But the actual work, the piece that's stuck waiting for that decision or sitting in that handoff queue, it's not moving any faster. In fact, all the extra noise might even be slowing it down. We're just burning ourselves out running in place.
Okay, so if pushing harder is the trap, then what are we missing? This leads us to the biggest, and I mean the biggest mindset shift in this whole explainer. The problem isn't the effort, it's the system.
Let's just get this out of the way. The problem is almost never that people aren't trying hard enough. More often than not, they're working incredibly hard, compensating for a process that's making their lives difficult. The real source of the delay, the reason for all that waiting, is somewhere else entirely.
It's here. It's in the structure that surrounds the work itself. I want you to think about it like a river. You can't make the water flow faster by shouting at it. It's pointless. If you want the river to flow faster, you have to change the shape of the riverbed. You have to look at the conditions, the handoffs, and the constraints that are actually controlling the speed. And these are the kinds of things that make up that riverbed. It's that awkward, time-consuming handoff between two teams. It's when one team gets really efficient at their one part of the job, but all they do is create a massive traffic jam for the next team down the line. These are the invisible forces that are quietly setting the speed limit for the entire organization, no matter how hard anyone paddles.
So, what happens when you start to see this underlying structure? Well, once you see it, you kind of can't unsee it. And it totally changes the game when it comes to thinking about improvement. It's about learning to stop seeing all the activity and start seeing the flow.
This really is the core trade-off. The old way of thinking is all about individuals doing more, trying harder, being busier. But the new focus, the one that actually gets things moving, is about changing the conditions the work is moving through. It's a fundamental shift because you stop trying to fix the people and start trying to fix the process. And you know what?
When you look at it this way, real improvement starts to look, well, quieter. It's less about some heroic last-minute push to meet a deadline. It's less about launching another big, loud initiative. It's more about making a small, smart change to the system that suddenly unlocks a huge amount of progress. It's way less drama and a whole lot more meaningful change.
So the point here isn't to give you a 5-step plan to follow. It's really about leaving you with a new set of questions to think about. And the first one is just this. Start looking for the wait states. Where, in your process, does work spend most of its time just sitting around, not being worked on?
The next question digs a little deeper. Can you find the real constraint? Not the person who seems busy, but the actual part of the system, that one bottleneck that is quietly, secretly setting the pace for everybody else.
And finally, maybe the most important question to hold on to. What would be different for you, for your team, for your organization? What would change if you shifted your focus? If you stopped asking, how can we all do more? And you started asking, how can we change the system so the work can just flow? Now that is a question worth thinking about.